Hi and welcome to SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave any comments in the comments section. Please like and share the video as well. Spread the word of SCW as it is WrestleMania week. That's right, WrestleMania 34 is this Sunday from New Orleans, Louisiana. You can check out my NXT TakeOver predictions. They are already up and available for you right now if you wish to see them. But I'm going to go through the entire match card here for WrestleMania 34 and give my predictions. So we'll start with the kickoff matches. Going to be starting with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Now, many would be surprised to say that this is not on the main card, with the HBO special for Andre the Giant going to be on TV in the next week. But it is on the kickoff, and sadly, there's just not enough meaning behind this particular match. It doesn't mean a lot, despite the fact that WWE's best attempts to say it means something with the likes of Baron Corbin, then saying he won the Money in the Bank later on. It was 18 months later. Same with Cesaro. He lost his way after winning that, and then has eventually formed a tag team with Sheamus and become a big deal in the tag team division. You could argue last year with Mojo Rawley winning it was the wrong choice. He's been lost in the shuffle. Jinder Mahal was a finalist in that. It would have made a lot more sense for him to have won it last year. So we then look at this year, and it seems to be whatever's left of people that are not thrown into a purpose meaningful storyline heading into WrestleMania. For me, as a favourite, I would love Woken Matt Hardy to win it. I think particularly it was great watching him on Monday Night Raw, where he was almost in love with the trophy. He almost gave it like a beloved hug. It seemed like it would fit very well if he was to win it. Maybe you could see it featured in the Hardy compound if there was future Ultimate Deletion matches, and it could have its little role, and perhaps even he could get inspirations of talking to Andre the Giant. I know it's as baffling as it sounds, but certainly for me, I would be most in favour of Woken Matt Hardy to win. Saying this, I don't think he is going to win. I feel that maybe there could be a surprise element, maybe a return. This could maybe be a good way to go. I wouldn't be surprised if Big Cass was to return and win the Battle Royal, but we'll have to wait and see. As I'm going to make a prediction of who I know is in the Battle Royal at present, for me, I'm going to say Dolph Ziggler is going to win. And my only reason for doing this is because if you believe the rumour mill, he was expected to have a WrestleMania one-on-one match this year. He's never had that in the whole time he's been with the company. It felt like he was finally going to get that this year, but plans changed, and it feels like perhaps maybe he's never had that WrestleMania moment, and after so many years of loyalty and dedication with WWE, I kind of feel like that maybe they still might give that to him. So for me, I'm going to say as a prediction, Dolph Ziggler to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's one of the few matches where I could turn around and say literally anyone could win it. But I would like to know your feelings in the comments below, who you think would win this match. Next, we'll look at the first ever WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. And of course, it's the exact same thing as the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but for the women. It's nice to see that they're going to get, one of the first ever. Again, I love seeing the women getting their opportunity in WWE. I think it just shows an even playing field, and it's nice to see. But looking at the match itself, it's going to feature female superstars from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Makes you wonder if this could be an opportunity to give a call-up maybe to someone like Ember Moon. Maybe she could win it, and maybe then she could go to the main roster as the first ever WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal winner. Certainly would be beneficial. I mean, we've got the likes of Sasha Banks, we've got Bayley, Carmella, Natalya, Becky Lynch. They're all going to be in this match. Naomi as well. So it's a perfect opportunity to elevate someone perhaps who's not doing so well. So to make a prediction of who I think would win, it's very difficult. Again, Battle Royals, you don't know what direction it is, and it depends what WWE are going to do after WrestleMania. I think personally, if I was booking it, I would love to see Bayley and Sasha Banks as the last two. They've really sort of built a sort of rivalry with these two now going into WrestleMania. It wouldn't make any sense for them to both be eliminated and not be in the final two for me. It would make perfect sense where we could see almost the match take place, but using the Battle Royal to get that match. And for me, I would be quite in favour of that. At the same time, I kind of feel that maybe they should build someone up. I mean, arguably, you have to believe the rumours for it to be true. Carmella is expected at the moment to maybe cash in and lose her Money in the Bank contract. Now, I don't know if that is going to happen or not. We'll perhaps come back to Carmella when we go into the SmackDown women's title match later during this video. But if she was to lose that, maybe this could be a saving grace and would actually help her by winning. the first ever women's battle royal. That way she doesn't lose complete momentum, and hopefully they would build it as more successful than they've done for the men's battle royal in the past. But if I'm going to stick my neck out and say a prediction, and someone who perhaps needs it, I'm going to go with someone who needs it more than anybody as my final prediction here. And I say that this will be my actual prediction. I'm going to go for Becky Lynch. And the reason I'm going to go for Becky Lynch is because she's been quite lost in the shuffle for a long time in WWE. Saying someone that could do with a rub going forward, I feel that Becky Lynch perhaps is going to be someone that perhaps will move to Raw, maybe with a superstar shake-up on the horizon. And this would be a good way to just give her a bit of momentum going back into it. She's sort of slowly been picking up some like low-key victories over like the Riot Squad on SmackDown Live in the last couple of weeks. So you sort of think, well, maybe this would be a good time to pull the trigger, give Becky Lynch the win, switch her to Raw, and see what happens. And hopefully, it would be good. It would be good for Straight Fire as we move into the rest of 2018. Next, we should look at the Cruiserweight Championship match, of course. It's the tournament finals. I've watched the tournament on 205 Live. Some would say maybe you've wasted your time because it's on the kickoff. But arguably, they have really put their effort in 205 Live. I've really enjoyed that they've done the best of what they can do with it. And we've seen some pretty good matches. Actually, to the point this week, I know it's not a tournament match, but Kalisto versus Buddy Murphy, an incredible match, probably the best match on WWE TV this week. And I would even say, I mean, the fans were chanting for 205. I feel slowly but surely there is a potential that this could become a brand that maybe could be worth watching in time. You could argue maybe Johnny Gargano could come to 205 after WrestleMania, maybe Tommaso Ciampa in time. Buddy Murphy seems to be good. And we've got these two tournament finalists here with Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali, who have arguably been in the second, third role tier the whole time since the introduction of the Cruiserweight division. And I think that it would be good to see how this match is going to be. I think it's in the right place of WrestleMania. I think the kickoff, it's a great momentum builder. I think they'll get more time here than they would on the main show. I think this has potential to be a stellar match and perhaps one of the highlights of the night if people do actually give it the time and investment it perhaps deserves. I expect that it will, and I think it will get a 205 chant during the actual match. As for a result, it's not easy to predict. But I'm going to say Cedric Alexander to win this match, purely because he's been the guy who's been the maybe guy for almost, it feels like forever now, but certainly the last 3 or 4 months. He was supposed to get title matches, and then, of course, the big fiasco with Enzo Amore, but then he getting released, then led to this tournament. It just feels that it was a platform to make a big gap where there wasn't a champion. We could forget about Enzo, and it feels now that it would be the right moment to crown that champion, and Cedric then could carry that momentum that he's had where he's been the number one contender for so long, gets through to the tournament final and wins. It feels to me that the chase for Cedric Alexander wouldn't work if we were to continue from here, particularly as well as the number one contender has already been set for after WrestleMania. So for me, Cedric to win, and I think then he would get a match with Buddy Murphy going forward after this. We'll go then to the main card of WrestleMania, and I'm going to start with what I think in the match order will be the first match of the night. It's one of the big matches. I think that they will start off right if they do Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. A feud that has been built over several months. Of course, we didn't know that Daniel Bryan was going to be in the ring until perhaps a couple of weeks before WrestleMania. It's been great to see him cleared. I can't wait to see him back. And of course, in New Orleans, another opportunity in New Orleans to make a career-defining moment for Daniel Bryan. Of course, the last time he won in the main event of WrestleMania, this time is his return. New Orleans will be a close place in Daniel Bryan's heart, and I hope that the match is going to be a big success and it will all go well, and we can see Daniel Bryan go on for years to come after this. But going into the match itself, of course, if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win, they're rehired to SmackDown Live. If they lose, they are fired forever from SmackDown Live. Of course, storyline purposes, that probably will change in a year or two. But it feels clear to me that as Raw is not included in this stipulation, that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, for me, will end up eventually back on Monday nights, particularly with the shake-up coming up. Perhaps even the night after WrestleMania, this could be where they will reinsert themselves on Monday night. So I'm going to go for Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon to win. I cannot see Daniel Bryan returning to the ring and losing. For me, it would make absolutely no sense at all. So I am going to go for a Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon victory. Next, we will look at the United States Championship, which is going to be a fatal 4-way. Originally, was supposed to be a triple threat match between Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal, and Bobby Roode. It was feeling a bit flat, so thankfully, Rusev has been inserted into this match to make it the Fatal 4-Way. And of course, it's Rusev Day on WrestleMania, so why wouldn't you have Rusev in the match? Clearly, he's going to be the most over person in this match, what I think could have been a flat triple threat match otherwise. Bobby Roode, it just hasn't quite clicked for him on the main roster so far for me, despite having the glorious. I feel that his gimmick has gone from what we had of NXT, and I preferred that heel gimmick, that cocky attitude. I hope that they go back to that after WrestleMania. But looking at the match in the meantime, I think it's going to be a better match now. It's a Fatal 4-Way, and I think it's going to be an exciting one to watch. I have a feeling that Randy Orton is going to retain here. I don't see the point of this merry-go-round with the United States Championship. It's switched so many times in recent months. It needs some stability. And I do believe that the United States Championship will be switching to Monday nights, which I'll be coming to for that reason in a second. So who do I feel of these four will switch to Monday Night Raw? I think Randy Orton. So I am going to say that Randy Orton will win here in the Fatal 4-Way. Now, the reason I believe this is because I believe the Intercontinental Championship will switch to SmackDown after WrestleMania. Of course, the match taking place is The Miz, the Intercontinental Champion, versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Now, I'm very much looking forward to this. I think this has got potential to be match of the night as well. I said about the Cruiserweight match. This one as well really has got potential. Finn Balor and Seth Rollins on Raw this week, an incredible encounter. Add The Miz in there as well. I mean, he's a great character. He's got, of course, the idea that if he wins this match, he would be the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. I personally would love him to actually have that accolade. I think it would be great to do, even if he was to retain on WrestleMania and lose the following night on Raw. But I believe that, of course, the way it's always worked for The Miz, even since the early days of him joining the WWE, something just always seems to happen to The Miz. And for me, it feels like it would be a perfect moment to take the Intercontinental Championship from The Miz, so that if and when he ever wins the belt again, which I imagine he perhaps will at some point in his career, he will then become the longest reigning champion of all time. As for who I believe then will actually win the belt, well, I actually believe that both Finn Balor and Seth Rollins will be on SmackDown in a few weeks' time, but I feel it's going to benefit more for Finn Balor to win here, because when you look at things, the rumour was that Seth Rollins after WrestleMania is expected to go back to the main event area. It would make a lot of sense, actually. Perhaps maybe him versus Roman Reigns could take place before the shake-up of the next pay-per-view Backlash. And we could see the likes of maybe Seth Rollins against like a Shinsuke Nakamura. Maybe it could happen. Maybe AJ Styles if he stays put on SmackDown Live. There is definitely some high-profile matches you could give to Seth Rollins as part of that main event. Finn Balor as well. I'm pretty sure that they would both be seen as a serious people on SmackDown Live. I think it would give them both a new lease of life, and I think that they would perhaps elevate themselves to the top of the card once again on the blue brand. But looking for now, I think Finn Balor most would benefit with that Intercontinental Championship. I think he needs it more than anybody. If you want to keep Finn Balor serious, then I think he needs to win. Will we get the Demon gimmick at WrestleMania? No, I don't think we will. But still, nonetheless, I think that it will be a decent match, perhaps one of the matches of the night at WrestleMania. Next, we'll look at the Raw Women's Championship match, Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. Personally, for me, the friendship, of course, is in shambles. It's supposed to be a fake friendship all along from Alexa Bliss's side. They're really playing with Nia Jax with her look and, almost playing with the weight card. For me, in one way, yeah, I can see where they're going with this. I think that it's definitely good for a Nia Jax face turn. It's nice to get people on her side. It definitely is a way maybe they could make it work. Of course, the way society is now, I think that perhaps maybe this has been built quite well, but I don't like the way that it makes Alexa Bliss look, because I know, and Mickie James as well. Of course, Mickie James was a sufferer of this with Piggy James back in 2010 or 2009, 2010 area. But you look at it and say, for me, who was going to win? I firmly believe Nia Jax is going to walk away with the new Raw Women's Champion. I believe a face turn is on. It's just hopefully not too damaging for Bliss and Mickie James of their characters going forward, as I say. But we'll have to wait and see. But for this match, and to give a prediction, I will be going with Nia Jax. Next, we'll look at the Raw Tag Team Championships. Sheamus and Cesaro against Braun Strowman and a partner of his choosing. He needs to have a partner. So there's quite a few candidates that could take this role. There was a tease from Braun Strowman that he was travelling into New Orleans with Bray Wyatt. Now, there was rumours that Bray Wyatt could be getting a new gimmick now after he lost the Ultimate Deletion match. Could he come back and be the partner for Braun Strowman? They have teamed before. There is the likelihood of Samoa Joe perhaps returning anytime now. He could be the partner. Elias could be the partner. And as well as this, I mean, perhaps maybe even Big Cass, he's ready and cleared to return. There has been rumours of Dean Ambrose in the past, but from what I'm aware of, I don't believe he's due to return anytime soon to WWE, so I would potentially rule him out. As first off of a prediction, I think Samoa Joe would be the perfect partner. That would be my choice anyway. We'll have to wait and see. If this is to take place, I would like to see Strowman perhaps fall out with the person he's partners with, and we see the Bar keep the tag team championships. I do have a feeling, though, it will go the other way around. I do believe that Strowman and the partner of his choice will walk away as the Raw Tag Team Champions and will at least hold those belts for at least a month, I believe. Perhaps maybe a breakup could cause then. But whatever is done here, I think they could build a good summer angle from this. So I'm hoping it's going to be more of a mismatch partnership, like Strowman and Joe, because I think as a rivalry that would work really well. We've already seen Strowman and Elias, so we don't need to see that again. Strowman and Big Cass could work, but for me, I don't think Big Cass is a big enough star for that to work for me. But that's just my personal opinion. So hopefully Samoa Joe will come in, and hopefully they will win the championships, and hopefully they will perhaps lose the belts in a month, and then we can see a program build between them two. Next, we will look at the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. It's a triple threat match. Originally, one point was rumoured to be a TLC match, but that stipulation has not been put in place at the time of recording. It's going to be the Usos who finally get a WrestleMania moment and a WrestleMania match. They'll be taking on the New Day, and they'll also be taking on the Bludgeon Brothers. Going to be an interesting match here. I'm looking forward to it. It has been built fairly well. Not really so much going on in the last week or so with a few, but perhaps up until that point, they've done what they needed to do. A lot of people, I think, are in belief that the Bludgeon Brothers will walk away the tag team champions. I feel that the Usos perhaps will actually go to Monday Night Raw in the shake-up. But the thing is that I don't see them losing the belts at WrestleMania. I don't know, I just feel this WrestleMania moment that the Usos should really get that moment, and not only have the moment, but actually win the match as well. They can lose the belts on SmackDown Live the following Tuesday, or perhaps even at the pay-per-view afterwards, because normally it's a bit of a mess when we have these shake-ups. The matches become almost Raw versus SmackDown afterwards, so I don't see why the Usos couldn't lose the SmackDown Tag Team Championships after WrestleMania, but or even be stripped if they are taken over to Monday Night Raw, but we'll have to wait and see. But for me, I'm going to put the prediction out there that the Usos will retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Next then, the SmackDown Live Women's Championship match between Charlotte Flair and Asuka will be taking place. It is the Empress taking on the Queen. I'm very much looking forward to this. It's almost one of the dream matches that's been put together for this year's WrestleMania. It's all going to be interesting how this one is going to be booked to go down, because I mentioned before there is a potential Carmella has that briefcase. She could cash in during the match or after the match. I personally would not like to see that happen. I think it would be a waste of the Money in the Bank briefcase. I feel that if it's going to be cashed in, it should be successful. And plus, I think this is going to be such a great match that I don't want to see it interfered with. I want to see it left with the two women in the ring. So going to the match itself, I believe that Asuka is going to win here. I believe that all this build, it feels for me that a new SmackDown Women's Champion would make sense. I think Asuka then could carry the SmackDown brand going forward. I think it frees Charlotte Flair to come to Monday Night Raw once again, because I believe that that's where she should be. Then you could put her in the likes of matches with Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. Asuka can continue flying the flag on SmackDown Live, and plenty of competitors that she could be facing there. And I'm sure one or two faces will be coming from Raw as well to give her some much anticipated rivalries to go into the summer with. So if we look at it with Asuka's undefeated streak, she has won every single match she's been involved with in WWE NXT since she arrived in October 2015. If she's going to lose it, she should lose it to Charlotte Flair. So that's my belief. If she should lose it to Flair this Sunday, not in a Money in the Bank situation. But I believe that Asuka will win. I believe at the moment, if I was going to make a prediction, that we are going to get Asuka versus Ronda Rousey at some point, and I think that both will be undefeated, and I believe that that is where someone's streak will come to an end, and that could even possibly be the moment Asuka does it, and that could even be another year from now. So I believe at this particular moment Asuka will win. I think it's going to be a great match against Charlotte Flair, and I think the undefeated streak continues. I mentioned Ronda Rousey, so let's go next then with her and Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie. A very on-off build with this one, perhaps quite lackluster. Really, the whole WrestleMania build has been quite lackluster in places, but the match card as we're going through, I think is quite stellar, and I think that this has potential to be a better match than perhaps a lot of people are anticipating. I think Kurt Angle and Triple H will carry the workload here, and because obviously it'll be the men versus the men and women versus the women. If you put Ronda and Stephanie in the ring for too long together, it's going to be a very quick match. But I do think that we'll get the hot tag in there. I think Ronda will come in, and I think that we'll finally see some comeuppance for Stephanie McMahon after all those years, and we will see a victorious Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey. Be interesting to see what happens going forward from there. I personally believe Kurt Angle will lose his job as GM for Monday Night Raw, and it'll be interesting to see if he comes back to the active roster or does a part-time sort of schedule like other superstars, maybe like John Cena and Brock Lesnar have done. But it'll be interesting to see. But I think they'll be winning anyway, and it certainly will be one of the big talking points of WrestleMania, I'm very sure, when we look at that. Next, we will look at what I think should be the main event of WrestleMania, but I think the best we can hope for is the match third before the end. It is, of course, the WWE Championship Match, the Dream Match. AJ Styles, the champion, defending against the Royal Rumble winner of 2018, Shinsuke Nakamura. What was the match we wanted? It's been teased for a long time. It's the match we finally got. It was rumours a long time ago that this was definitely not going to be the championship match of WrestleMania, but we've got it the way we want it, and personally, I hope these guys are just given the time. There was rumours before that AJ Styles was carrying a knock, but he has been in the ring a couple of times, and for me, he's looked quite good when he's been in the ring. It looks like for me he's good to go at WrestleMania. I hope they're given 20 minutes, half an hour, leave it all in the ring, and I think we're going to have a potential great match here. Will it be as good as the Wrestle Kingdom match? I'm not so sure. Of course, they're allowed to do whatever they want in New Japan with lots of pile drivers and stuff like this. There is a bit more limitation of rules like that within WWE, but I still think this will be a stellar match. And I've said about potential match of the night throughout the entire thing. I think that this definitely will be the match of the night, but I think that there was a few matches here that I think could steal the show. I think this will be the one, and this is what perhaps shows that WrestleMania will be perhaps better than we all expect, and I certainly hope so anyway. Now, before we go to what I think actually will be the main event, even though perhaps I disagree with it, I will just quickly mention Elias. Now, he is potentially going to have a big performance, which he's been promising us now for weeks at WrestleMania, which makes me feel he's going to be involved with other people. I think as well, I mean, there was a likelihood that he could have some different segments throughout the night. I'd love to see him have a segment with Kid Rock, for example. There has been rumours that he could even have a segment with The Rock. Now, that if The Rock is to actually show up at WrestleMania, it would be a big surprise. I like the idea of being a big surprise, and The Rock concert against an Elias concert, them two are fantastic as well with their mic work. I think it would be incredible, and I think it would be a big WrestleMania moment. So I, for one, hope this happens. But of course, whatever happens, I'm sure there's big plans for Elias. He's had a really good first year in WWE. He's exceeded many of expectations. He's exceeded my expectation as well. I've been a big fan of Elias the whole way through, but I didn't think he'd have this much success. And I hope he stays on Monday Night Raw. I think that's the place for him, and I think that he has got a big place in WWE's future. Now, before actually we do go to that main event, of course, John Cena is turning up as a fan at WrestleMania. Do we believe that? Not for a second. There is definitely going to be some sort of segment here at WrestleMania involving John Cena and as well the Undertaker. I'm expecting the American Badass to show up, as I'm sure many have rumoured it, potentially as Kid Rock perhaps performs the original American Badass theme song to see him come to the ring. Will it be a stare down? There have been some rumours suggesting it could be a stare down, building for a later date, or will we get the match that perhaps we've all wanted? It's been built and teased so much. It feels to me that you just wouldn't tease it that much if the match is not going to happen. So I fully expect this match to happen. Has it been a good build? For this match, I actually believe it has. I believe that the whole story really involves John Cena having a match at WrestleMania, which has gone from the Royal Rumble up till now. He's been losing every opportunity he's been given, and I think that he's been calling for The Undertaker without getting a response. And I feel that personally, it's been very good. I really liked the way it's been built up until this point. Have some of the promos from John Cena been a bit hokey? Yes, they have. Of course they have. But you know what? They've been thoroughly entertaining, and I actually personally really hope that this comes together at WrestleMania, because I think it'll be a big moment. Is it a match that perhaps should have been done a few years ago? Yes, of course. It would have made much more sense years ago to have done this match. There isn't really much to gain for either star to win or lose here. So before I give my prediction, I would say that this would have made more sense years ago when The Undertaker still had his undefeated streak. Could you imagine a submission match with John Cena, a guy who never gives up, against the guy who never loses at WrestleMania in a submission match? That would have been money. But I tell you what, it was never done. It didn't happen. It looks like we're going to get it now at least. I guess it's better late than never. But I don't see the point of The Undertaker coming back to lose, particularly as well if it's a change of gimmick. So I am going to suggest that The Undertaker will turn up, will face John Cena, and will defeat John Cena. Now, don't forget, John Cena is going to be doing some movie work after WrestleMania, so I don't see him sticking around either. So there's no reason why he needs to win from this either. We move on then to what probably will be the main event of WrestleMania. It's, of course, the Universal Championship, a repeat of WrestleMania 31, Brock Lesnar, the defending champion, against Roman Reigns. Now, for me personally, the build has been okay with this. I've not really had much problem with it. I've enjoyed the part where Brock Lesnar has completely annihilated Roman Reigns. Not because I'm a Roman hater. It's more because of the fact that I believe that they've kind of gone about this a clever way. Brock Lesnar, a guy who doesn't care about the fans of WWE, doesn't care about turning up to the shows, and doesn't really have any interest of being there. His interest is going to UFC. And on the other side, you've got a guy who's there every single week. You've got Roman Reigns, who turns up to work every night on time, and calling out Brock for not actually being there. It's a clever way, actually, to try and get the fans on Roman's side. Will it work at WrestleMania? The fans hate Roman. I'm not so sure it's still going to work at WrestleMania, but you might get the big pop for one night, maybe two at best, and then, of course, it'll perhaps go back to normal. But I think that this has been built pretty well. I mean, Brock has looked dominant as well when they have had altercations in the ring. There's been lots of chairs and stuff involved. See, for me, this makes me feel that perhaps maybe a no-holds-barred feeling should be given to this match. That would definitely give a bit more edge to it. It wouldn't then be seen as a pure repeat of WrestleMania 31. But one thing is for sure, we're definitely going to get a result this time. No Money in the Bank cash-in. And I believe we will get a new champion. I believe Roman Reigns will be the Universal Champion at last. The belt has been nearly in existence for nearly 2 years. It's certainly been around for 18 months or so. And Roman has never been the champion. So he will finally become the Universal Champion. He's had a long road to get there. And it'll be interesting to see where they push him forward from there. Will he become a long-standing champion? Or will we even get perhaps maybe a Paul Heyman heel turn on Brock Lesnar? I mean, that'd be a great time to do it, wouldn't it? Get Paul Heyman to turn on Brock Lesnar and join up with Roman Reigns. A heel Roman Reigns would make a lot of sense and would be a lot of money. But I don't see it happening, unfortunately. I just see the clean victory for Roman. But certainly would have elements of WrestleMania 17 if that was to take place. You'd almost, when Austin joined McMahon, to see Heyman and Reigns turn together. And Reigns to become a heel, I think would be very exciting TV, and particularly with the way Braun Strowman is as well at the moment. He's so over, it just seems a crime that he's not in the main event picture. And I think, personally, that feud now with a heel Reigns and a face Strowman would actually make the company a lot of money. But I'm perhaps going off track here. Going to the match itself, I just expect the usual, as I say. The heel turn would be fantastic, but I don't see it happening. Roman Reigns to pick up the victory over Brock Lesnar. Will it be done in a quick fashion? Probably not. I reckon it'd be probably quite a ruthless match. They need to. Brock's been strong the whole time in WWE, and I think they need to keep it that way. I would like to see this in quite a slobber-knocker kind of match. 15-20 minutes, all-out warfare, and eventually we get Roman Reigns getting the spear and then getting the victory. So there we have it. That's my WrestleMania predictions there for you. I've certainly been talking for a long time, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. That's all my thoughts on the preview with the event. I think it's going to be a stellar event. I think it's going to be... there's a lot of good matches there. They look good on paper anyway, and I feel that they will deliver in match quality. As the storyline's been perfect on the build-up, perhaps not perfect, perhaps lackluster in places. Certainly some rivalries could have done with different directions, but... At the same time, I feel that this is going to be an enjoyable event. It's going to be a long event. For someone who's in Europe, it's going to be hard to watch it live, although I will perhaps do my best. If not, I certainly will be watching it the next day. I wouldn't be surprised if people did this in 1 or 2 stints, to be fair. It's going to be 7 hours long with the kickoff, so it's a long show, but I'm very much looking forward to it. It's definitely the highlight of every wrestling calendar. WrestleMania, the name itself is now the selling point for it, not necessarily the superstars on it, you could argue. But it brings a lot of people in. The casual fans come in, the hardcore fans come in, and of course it's a very special time of year. So I'm looking forward to see how it all plays out. But that's all from me anyway. I will stop talking for you there. Remember, NXT predictions are available for you right now. As well as that, there'll be some exciting news hopefully coming via this channel not long after WrestleMania. So do keep an eye on the channel. I know that I'm not posting as many videos as I used to, but there could be a change in the guard coming in a short time from now. But that's all from me anyway, and thank you for watching. Enjoy WrestleMania 34. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. I'd love to know what you're feeling. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Spread the word of SCW. Would love to make this channel even bigger. You can even go to our Facebook page right now as well, SCW The Wrestling Podcast. Me and George do a lot of Facebook Live chats on there as well, talking professional wrestling. So it's a good idea if you want to keep up to date with us all the time. We do a lot of regular Facebook Live chats. So yeah, it's definitely worth checking out if you get the opportunity. But that's all from me anyway. Thank you for watching. This is SCW The Wrestling Channel here on YouTube.com. Take care. I'll see you next time.